Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day and that you enjoyed a fantastic 4th of July weekend. As we head into Sunday and prepare for another important week in the cryptocurrency market, trading activity is expected to slow down a little before the weekly open. Lower volume often means calmer price action, but don't let that fool you, because there are several major developments happening around Cardano that every ADA holder should know about. Today, we're going to discuss a massive 19 million ADA movement, an important Cardano upgrade launching tomorrow that could significantly impact the ecosystem, and a Bitcoin indicator that has historically appeared near major bear market bottoms. These updates could shape market sentiment over the coming days, so make sure you stay until the end because every detail matters. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or investment advice. Cryptocurrency investments are highly volatile and involve risk. Always do your own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Over the past several days, Cardano has delivered one of its strongest rallies in quite some time. The momentum has been impressive, with ADA posting consecutive gains that have caught the attention of traders across the crypto market. Daily increases of approximately 6.5%, nearly 5%, more than 11%, and another gain close to 7% demonstrate that buyers have returned with real confidence. This powerful upward movement pushed ADA back toward the 20-cent region, a price level that many traders have been watching closely for quite some time. Reaching this area is an encouraging sign because it confirms that buyers have been willing to step in aggressively after weeks of weakness. Although the market has experienced some short-term selling pressure, the overall recovery remains one of the strongest among major altcoins. At the time of recording, ADA was trading slightly below that important resistance level, and some long position liquidations were beginning to appear. Fortunately, the liquidation levels have remained relatively controlled. Traders have not become excessively over-leveraged while chasing higher prices, which is generally a healthy sign for the market. Instead of reckless speculation, the current price action suggests that many investors are simply taking profits after a rapid rally. That behavior is completely normal following such a strong move higher. Whenever an asset rises sharply within a short period, some market participants naturally decide to lock in gains, creating temporary selling pressure before the next potential move. Despite those small pullbacks, Cardano has been one of the best performing cryptocurrencies over the past week. The rally has been so strong that ADA has climbed back into the position of the 13th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. That achievement reflects growing investor confidence and shows that Cardano is once again attracting serious attention after spending months under pressure. During the previous 7 days alone, ADA gained nearly 29%, while the total recovery from the recent lows reached approximately 30%. Those numbers highlight just how significant this rebound has been. However, one important challenge still remains. Recovering quickly is one thing, but maintaining those gains is something entirely different. Sustaining higher prices will determine whether this move develops into a longer-term trend or simply becomes another temporary rally. Much of Cardano's next move will likely depend on Bitcoin. Whether investors like it or not, Bitcoin continues to lead the entire cryptocurrency market, and its direction often influences nearly every major altcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is trading around one of the most closely watched technical levels on the chart, the 200-week moving average. Historically, this moving average has served as a critical support zone during previous market cycles. Remaining above this level would strengthen the bullish outlook, while losing it could trigger another wave of short-term selling throughout the crypto market. There is still a realistic possibility that Bitcoin could revisit lower price levels before continuing higher. One important area many analysts are watching is around $62,000, which also aligns closely with Bitcoin's 20-day moving average. A healthy retest of that region would not necessarily be bearish. In fact, successful retests often confirm strong support, before the next leg higher begins. If Bitcoin temporarily declines toward that level and buyers quickly step back in, it could reinforce confidence throughout the broader market. Naturally, if Bitcoin experiences another pullback, Cardano could also revisit some of its recently recovered support levels. That possibility should not surprise anyone because ADA frequently follows Bitcoin during periods of increased market volatility. Patience continues to be one of the most valuable qualities for cryptocurrency investors. Although the recent rally has been exciting, there is still work to be done before anyone can confidently declare that the bear market has completely ended. Markets rarely move upward in a perfectly straight line. Instead, they advance through cycles of rallies, consolidations, pullbacks, and recoveries. Understanding that reality helps investors remain focused on the bigger picture rather than becoming overly emotional during short-term price fluctuations. One particularly interesting development involves a Bitcoin indicator that has historically appeared near major bear market bottoms. Looking back across previous market cycles reveals a fascinating pattern. During Bitcoin's earlier years, this indicator moved into negative territory around the same period that the market established its ultimate bottom. Although the earliest cycles contained more volatility because Bitcoin was still a relatively young asset with lower liquidity, the relationship remained surprisingly consistent. The same behavior appeared once again during the 2018 and 2019 bear market. As Bitcoin completed its long decline, this indicator shifted into negative territory almost exactly when the market formed its final bottom before beginning a new recovery phase. Later, during the late 2022 market collapse, the indicator briefly turned negative once more, again aligning closely with Bitcoin's eventual bear market low. Now, market observers are seeing this same signal emerge once again. Naturally, no indicator guarantees future results, but historical patterns deserve attention when they repeatedly appear during important turning points. Could this signal mean that Bitcoin is approaching the end of its current bear market? It certainly remains a possibility. While nothing in financial markets is ever guaranteed, repeating historical behavior often encourages investors to pay close attention. Even if Bitcoin has already formed its bottom, that does not automatically mean every altcoin has done the same. Historically, many alternative cryptocurrencies have continued falling even after Bitcoin stabilized. However, there is also another scenario worth considering. It is entirely possible that both Bitcoin and major altcoins, including Cardano, could be establishing their long-term bottoms around the same period. At this stage, neither possibility should be dismissed because the market continues to evolve rapidly. As the market continues searching for direction, investor sentiment is also beginning to improve. Retail confidence has been extremely weak for many months, with countless traders losing patience after prolonged periods of declining prices. However, sentiment can change surprisingly fast once positive developments begin to appear. Recent market strength, improving technical indicators, and favorable regulatory discussions have started shifting the conversation. One example is the continued attention surrounding the Clarity Act and other crypto-related developments that have encouraged investors to believe the industry could be entering a more supportive regulatory environment. While legislation alone cannot guarantee higher prices, improving confidence often becomes one of the strongest catalysts for renewed buying interest. Beyond price action, one of the biggest stories for Cardano arrives tomorrow with what many are calling one of the most significant upgrades in the network's history. On July 6th, the first phase of the RealFi testnet officially launches, marking the first public step toward introducing a new generation of decentralized lending and credit markets on Cardano. This initiative is designed to put idle stablecoin liquidity to productive use through secure on-chain financial applications. Instead of allowing capital to remain inactive, the RealFi ecosystem aims to create lending opportunities, improve capital efficiency, and expand Cardano's decentralized finance capabilities. According to Charles Hoskinson, this RealFi initiative represents one of the largest upgrades Cardano has ever introduced. The long-term vision is to create a complete decentralized financial infrastructure capable of supporting lending, borrowing, and credit systems directly on the blockchain. Phase 1 will be open to public participants, allowing developers, community members, and users to test important features while providing valuable feedback before the eventual mainnet release. Community participation during the testing phase could help strengthen the protocol before it becomes fully operational across the Cardano network. This upcoming launch may also explain part of ADA's recent rally. Cryptocurrency markets frequently move in anticipation of major announcements rather than after the event itself. Investors often purchase assets ahead of expected positive news, creating what traders commonly describe as buy the rumor. Once the anticipated event officially arrives, some investors choose to secure profits, leading to the familiar sell the news reaction. That possibility should remain on every trader's radar as the RealFi testnet goes live. Even if temporary profit-taking occurs, it would not necessarily change the project's long-term outlook. Instead, it could simply represent a normal pause following a period of strong price appreciation. Another encouraging trend is the noticeable shift in public perception surrounding Cardano. Only a short time ago, much of the discussion surrounding ADA focused on criticism, delays, or negative market performance. Today, the conversation has changed dramatically. Cardano is once again becoming one of the most discussed cryptocurrencies across social media, trading communities, and blockchain analytics platforms. Increased visibility often attracts new investors, additional liquidity, and stronger community engagement. While social attention alone cannot sustain a bull market, it frequently accompanies periods of renewed optimism and growing participation. Large investors, commonly referred to as whales, continue showing confidence in Cardano as well. Whale wallet activity has remained an important indicator throughout previous market cycles because institutions and high-net-worth investors often accumulate assets long before retail participation returns. Their continued interest suggests that experienced market participants still recognize long-term value within the Cardano ecosystem. At the same time, ADA has climbed to the top of crypto's social discussions, becoming one of the most talked-about digital assets in the market. Unlike previous periods, when Cardano dominated headlines for negative reasons, the current attention is largely driven by ecosystem growth, technological upgrades, and improving market performance. Another development that generated considerable discussion involved a significant movement of approximately 19 million ADA. Blockchain monitoring platforms noticed that Cardano's circulating on-chain supply briefly declined compared to the previous day, raising questions throughout the community. Just days earlier, roughly 67 million ADA had entered circulation, making this sudden decrease appear even more unusual. Naturally, many investors wondered whether whales had accumulated large amounts of ADA or whether some unexpected event had occurred within the network. The explanation turned out to be much simpler than many initially feared. The reduction was connected to a 19 million ADA donation returned to the Cardano treasury from the Catalyst Fund. Rather than indicating mysterious selling activity or hidden whale movements, the transaction represented an internal treasury-related adjustment within the ecosystem. Understanding the reason behind large blockchain transactions is important because significant transfers often create unnecessary speculation when viewed without proper context. In this case, the movement did not signal a negative fundamental change for Cardano, but instead reflected treasury management within the project's governance framework. When combining all of these developments together, the overall picture becomes increasingly interesting. Cardano has experienced one of its strongest rallies in months. Bitcoin is approaching historically important technical levels. Long-term market indicators are flashing signals that previously aligned with bear market bottoms. Investor sentiment is gradually improving. Whale accumulation remains supportive. Cardano's RealFi upgrade is entering its public testing phase, and major treasury movements have now been fully explained. None of these developments guarantee immediate price appreciation, but together they create an environment that deserves careful monitoring over the coming weeks. As always, cryptocurrency investing requires patience, discipline, and proper risk management. Short-term volatility should always be expected, especially after powerful rallies like the one ADA has recently experienced. Pullbacks, consolidations, and temporary corrections are completely normal parts of healthy market cycles. The key question now is whether Cardano can maintain its newly recovered support levels while Bitcoin continues defending its critical technical structure. If both conditions remain intact, the coming weeks could become extremely important for the next stage of the crypto market. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found this analysis helpful and want more daily updates on Cardano, Bitcoin, and the latest cryptocurrency news, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe ADA has already found its bottom? Or do you think another pullback is still ahead? Appreciate every one of you for your continued support, and I'll see you in the next video.